In the vastness of space, a shadow loomed over Earth. The Xeric Empire, known for its brutal conquests, had set its sights on the small blue planet. Their ships were sleek and menacing, gliding through the cosmos with an air of confidence. Captain Vekar, the commander of the Xeric fleet, stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars pass by. His eyes sparkled with ambition as he thought about the easy victory ahead. The humans, in his mind, were nothing but weak creatures, frightened by their own shadows. On Earth, life continued as usual. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the impending doom. In bustling cities, children played in parks, and families enjoyed time together. Yet, in a secret underground bunker, a different story unfolded. A diverse group of humans gathered, each one a testament to human resilience and determination. Among them was Captain Mira, a retired military officer known for her courage and tactical genius. Mira looked around the room, filled with scientists, engineers, and soldiers. They were a mix of backgrounds and experiences, but they all shared one goal: to protect their home. With a heavy heart, she began to speak. "We may not have the power of the Xeric Empire, but we have something they do not: our will to fight." The atmosphere in the bunker was tense. Many felt fear, but Mira's words ignited a spark of hope. She explained the Xerac's plan, which had been intercepted through intelligence reports. The Xeric fleet would arrive in just a few days, and they would not stop until Earth was theirs. Mira's voice rose above the murmurs of worry. "They think we will run. They think we will surrender. But we are not like that. We will stand and fight." As she spoke, the room filled with determination. Each person felt the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. They knew they were fighting for their families, their homes, and their very existence. They started brainstorming strategies and ideas, using their knowledge to create a plan. Engineers worked on improvised weapons, while scientists designed defenses against the Xeric technology. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the Xeric fleet continued its approach. General Vekar sat in his command chair, confident that victory was assured. He laughed, imagining how easy it would be to crush the humans. "Prepare the ships for arrival," he ordered, waving his hand dismissively. "This will be a glorious conquest." Back on Earth, the countdown began. With each passing hour, the tension grew. Mira and her team worked tirelessly, crafting traps and plans for guerrilla warfare. They knew they could not win a conventional battle against the Xeric Armada, but they could use their environment to their advantage. The city streets, parks, and buildings could become their weapons. As the day of arrival drew closer, the bunker buzzed with activity. People trained in combat, while others practiced using makeshift weapons. They were learning how to fight as a united front. The atmosphere shifted from fear to hope as they realized that they could depend on one another. When the day finally arrived, the sky darkened as the Xeric fleet entered Earth's atmosphere. The sight was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Massive ships blotted out the sun, and a chill ran down the spines of those who looked up. The Xeric fleet hovered ominously above major cities, ready to unleash destruction. But in the underground bunker, Mira felt a surge of determination. "This is our home," she declared to her team. "We will not let them take it without a fight. We are humans, and we will show them what we are made of." As the first attack began, chaos erupted. The Xeric ships fired down upon the cities, and panic ensued. But within the chaos, a surprising thing happened. Humans did not run. They did not cower in fear. Instead, they took to the streets, armed with the knowledge and courage they had gained in the bunker. In every city, people banded together. They fought back against the overwhelming odds, using their resourcefulness and bravery. The Xeric Empire had underestimated the human spirit, and it would cost them dearly. The storm was gathering, and as the first shots were fired, it became clear humans would not run. They would stand and fight, ready to prove that they were not as weak as the Xeric Empire believed. The gathering storm promised a battle like no other, and the outcome was still uncertain. But one thing was clear. The humans were ready to defend their home, no matter the cost. The atmosphere was electric as the Xeric fleet descended upon Earth. Cities trembled under the weight of the alien ships, their dark forms blotting out the sun. Sirens blared, and people ran in all directions, seeking shelter from the impending attack. Panic swept through the streets, but deep within the underground bunker, a different response was taking shape. Captain Mira gathered her team, a diverse group of soldiers, scientists, and engineers. They had spent countless hours preparing for this moment, and now they were about to face the greatest challenge of their lives. The bunker was filled with an intensity that buzzed in the air, igniting their resolve. "This is our time," Mira said, her voice steady and clear. "They think we will run, but we will show them the strength of humanity." As the Xeric ships unleashed their destructive firepower, Mira and her team moved swiftly. They had crafted improvised weapons and built defenses based on their knowledge of the cities and the Xeric technology. Each member of the team had a role to play, and together they would work to turn the tide against the invading force. Meanwhile, chaos erupted above ground. Buildings crumbled as Xeric weapons struck with precision. People were terrified, but some began to rally. News of the Xeric invasion spread quickly, igniting a flame of resistance in the hearts of many. Neighbors helped one another. Families came together in shelters, and some brave souls began to form small groups to defend their neighborhoods. The first significant clash occurred in a downtown area where civilians had banded together. They used whatever they could find, wooden planks, rocks, and even old sports equipment, to create makeshift weapons. Their resourcefulness astounded even the most seasoned soldiers. The Xeric forces, initially confident in their superiority, found themselves facing an unexpected challenge. Captain Mira received updates from her team above ground, and she smiled as she heard of the first successes. "They're fighting back," she exclaimed, her heart swelling with pride. "We must join them and show the Xeric that we will not cower." She quickly devised a plan to assist those fighting on the front lines. Mira led her team out of the bunker and into the streets. As they emerged, they were met with a sight that both thrilled and terrified them. Humans fighting with a fierce determination against the Xeric soldiers. The air was thick with smoke and the sound of explosions, but there was also a sense of unity among the people. The humans took advantage of their environment, using alleys and abandoned buildings to ambush Xeric patrols. Mira watched as one group led by a young woman named Lena devised a clever trap, using an overturned vehicle to create a barricade. When the Xeric soldiers approached, they sprang the trap, catching the aliens off guard. The humans cheered, their spirits lifting with each small victory. But the Xeric were not without their own strengths. General Vekar, watching the unfolding chaos from his command ship, grew furious. "These humans are fighting back. They should be trembling in fear," he shouted, slamming his fist against the console. He ordered his forces to increase their firepower and crush the resistance once and for all. Back on the ground, Mira's team quickly became a beacon of hope. They moved from group to group, offering support and guidance. Mira encouraged the civilians to use their surroundings to their advantage. "Remember, we know this city better than they do," she called out, rallying the people. "Use that knowledge." As the battle raged on, a surprising transformation took place. Fear began to fade, replaced by a fierce determination. In the face of overwhelming odds, humans were coming together, united in their desire to protect their home. Strangers became friends as they fought side by side, proving that the spirit of humanity could shine even in the darkest of times. The Xeric forces continued to push forward, but the tide was turning. The humans had found their courage and strength, and they were willing to fight for their future. Mira felt a rush of hope as she watched her fellow humans defy the expectations of their alien foes. They were proving that they would not run. They would stand firm and face whatever came their way. As the day wore on, the fighting intensified, and the outcome remained uncertain. The Zarek Empire had underestimated humanity, and now they were beginning to realize the mistake. The storm had gathered, and it was no longer just a battle for survival. It was a battle for honor, unity, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. In the heart of the chaos, the spirit of humanity shone brighter than ever, promising that they would not yield easily. The unexpected response from the humans was just the beginning, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, they prepared to show the Zarek Empire the true strength of Earth's defenders. 4. As night fell over Earth, the battle continued to rage. The glow of fires illuminated the streets, casting eerie shadows on the buildings that had once been symbols of peace and prosperity. The sounds of destruction filled the air, but amidst the chaos, a new resolve was taking hold among the humans. Captain Mira and her team moved swiftly through the shadows, guiding groups of civilians who had transformed into warriors, ready to fight for their home. In the heart of a once bustling neighborhood, a group of people had gathered in an old community center. This center had served as a hub for gatherings and events, and now it was a makeshift headquarters for their resistance. Mira stepped inside, and the room buzzed with energy. Men and women of all ages were working together, sharpening weapons and sharing strategies. "Listen up," Mira called out, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. "We need to stay united. The Zarek may have superior technology, but we have something they don't: our ingenuity and determination. Together, we can outsmart them." Cheers erupted in the room, and the spirit of unity surged among the crowd. They had realized that fear could be turned into strength. The humans began to share their own experiences, stories of survival, courage, and the will to protect their loved ones. Each tale added fuel to the fire of their resolve. Outside, the battle raged on. The Zarek forces were relentless, their ships hovering ominously above the streets, firing down with precision. But the humans fought back with determination. They used guerrilla tactics, striking quickly and retreating into the safety of the shadows. Every small victory inspired them further. One of the most significant clashes occurred when a group of Zarek soldiers invaded a nearby shopping district. Unbeknownst to them, a group of determined fighters had set up a series of traps. As the Zarek marched in, they triggered hidden explosives, sending shockwaves through their ranks. The humans emerged from their hiding spots, rallying together to push back against the invaders. The aliens, caught off guard, stumbled and faltered, giving the humans a crucial advantage. Back at the community center, Mira received news of the successful ambush. Her heart raced with pride for her fellow humans. "We're doing it," she exclaimed, feeling the weight of hope settle on her shoulders. "But we cannot let up. They will come back stronger." As the hours passed, the humans continued to organize and adapt. They gathered intelligence about Zarek movements, learning the patterns of their attacks. Mira was impressed by the creativity of her team. Engineers had rigged old cars with explosives, turning them into mobile bombs. They planned to use these devices as distractions, drawing the Zarek attention away from key areas. As dawn approached, Mira gathered her team to discuss the next phase of their plan. "We need to strike at the heart of their operations," she said, her voice firm. "We'll hit their command center. If we can disrupt their leadership, we might gain the upper hand." The group nodded in agreement, energized by the prospect of a bold strike. They divided into teams, each tasked with a specific role in the attack. Some would create distractions, while others would infiltrate the command center. The plan was risky, but they had come too far to back down now. Just before they set out, Mira paused, looking at the faces of those around her. Each one held a story, a reason for fighting. "Remember, this isn't just about today," she said. "This is about our future, our children, and the legacy we leave behind. We are fighting for everything we hold dear. Let's show them what we're made of." With renewed determination, the humans moved toward the Zarek command center. As they approached, they could see the immense ship hovering above, its dark silhouette blocking the rising sun. It was an intimidating sight, but they knew that this was their moment. The first part of their plan went into action. Teams deployed their distractions, creating loud noises and explosions in different areas of the city. The Zerek soldiers, confused and drawn to the chaos, began to shift their focus away from the command center. This was the opportunity Mira and her team had been waiting for. With stealth and precision, they slipped through the shadows, moving closer to the heart of the Zerek operation. As they neared the entrance, they encountered a group of alien guards. Instead of engaging in a direct confrontation, they utilized their knowledge of the environment, leading the guards into a trap where a well-placed explosive took them by surprise. Inside the command center, alarms blared as Mira and her team advanced. They moved quickly, navigating the corridors and rooms filled with advanced technology. Their goal was clear: find the control room and disrupt the Zerek's communication with the fleet. As they pushed deeper into the ship, they found themselves in the heart of the operation. They reached the control room, where Zerek officers were scrambling to regain control amidst the chaos. With a fierce determination, Mira and her team burst in, catching the aliens off guard. The humans fought valiantly, leveraging their teamwork and training. But just as victory seemed within reach, a figure emerged from the shadows. A tall Zerek general, his eyes blazing with anger. "You fools! You think you can defeat us?" he roared, drawing his weapon. The air crackled with tension as Mira faced the Zerek general. His imposing figure loomed over her and her team, his weapon glinting menacingly in the dim light of the control room. Behind him, monitors flickered with chaotic images of the ongoing battle outside, a stark reminder of what was at stake. Mira's heart raced, but she stood tall, knowing that her team was counting on her. "Do you really think you can win?" the general sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "You are mere humans, and we are the Zorak. We are stronger, faster, and far more advanced." Mira took a deep breath, her mind racing. "Strength isn't just about technology or size," she replied, her voice steady. "It's about heart, determination, and the will to fight for what you love. You underestimate us at your own peril." With a sudden shout, the battle erupted. Mira and her team surged forward, dodging laser blasts from the general's weapon. They moved as one, each member playing their part, trusting in their training and the bonds they had formed. The control room became a chaotic whirlwind of movement and sound as the humans clashed with the Zerek soldiers. Mira ducked under a blaster shot, rolling to the side and returning fire with a makeshift weapon, a modified pistol crafted from scavenged parts. The blast hit one of the Zerek guards, causing him to stumble back. Her teammates fought fiercely, using their surroundings to their advantage. They leaped over consoles and took cover behind equipment, striking back with renewed fervor. But the Zorak were relentless. The general, seeing his soldiers falter, bellowed commands, rallying them for a counterattack. The tide of battle turned as the aliens began to regroup, pushing the humans back. Mira felt a surge of fear, but she refused to give in. "We can't let them take control," she shouted to her team. "We need to push forward." Together, they launched themselves at the general and his forces, their combined strength fueled by the desire to protect their home. Mira felt a spark of hope as her team fought back, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed dance. They had trained for moments like this, and now it was time to prove their worth. In the chaos, Mira spotted a large control panel in the corner of the room. If they could disable the Zerek's communication system, it would disrupt their coordination with the ships outside. "Cover me," she yelled, sprinting toward the panel. Her teammates sprang into action, creating a wall of protection as Mira reached the console. She could hear the sounds of battle raging around her, blaster shots ringing out, and the grunts of combatants echoing in her ears. As she worked quickly, her hands flew over the controls, searching for the right sequence to disable the system. Just as she began inputting commands, a Zerek soldier broke through her defenses. He lunged at her, but Mira spun, using her training to deliver a powerful kick that sent him crashing into a nearby wall. "Not today," she shouted, refocusing on the panel. Finally, the screen flickered and flashed red. Yes, she cheered, but her victory was short-lived. The general charged at her, furious at the disruption. With a powerful swing of his weapon, he knocked Mira aside, sending her sprawling to the floor. Foolish human, he spat, raising his weapon for a final blow. But just as he was about to strike, Mira's teammate, Daniel, leaped in front of her. He tackled the general, and they crashed into the control panel, sending sparks flying everywhere. "Get up, Mira. We need to finish this," Daniel shouted, struggling to hold the general down. Mira scrambled to her feet, feeling a surge of adrenaline. She spotted a nearby emergency weapon, a metal rod used for maintenance. With all her strength, she seized it and swung it at the general. The blow landed squarely on his arm, causing him to release Daniel and stagger back in pain. "We can't give up," Mira yelled, rallying her team. They pressed forward, each fighter stepping up to confront the Zorak soldiers. Together, they formed a united front, fighting with everything they had. As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn. The Zorak soldiers, once confident in their superior technology, started to falter under the humans' relentless spirit. Mira watched as her team fought bravely, their determination shining through. They were no longer just humans. They had become warriors, fighting for their survival. With each victory, Mira's confidence grew. She could see the fear in the eyes of the remaining Zorak soldiers as they began to retreat, realizing that their overconfidence had led them into a trap. The humans were fierce and united, proving that they would not back down without a fight. "Now's our chance," Mira shouted, directing her team toward the remaining Zorak forces. They surged forward, chasing the aliens out of the control room and into the corridor beyond. The sound of victory echoed in their ears, a promise of freedom that was within reach. As they pushed forward, Mira felt a sense of purpose and belonging. They were fighting not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Each step brought them closer to reclaiming their home. The human spirit, once thought weak by the Zorak, was now roaring like a fierce wildfire, unstoppable and unyielding. But just as they reached the exit, a voice crackled over the intercom. "This is not over, humans," the Zorak general hissed, his voice filled with rage. "You may have won this battle, but the war is far from finished." Mira glanced at her teammates, determination gleaming in their eyes. They had proven their strength, and together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The humans were ready to fight, ready to show the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. The battle was just beginning, and they would not back down. The echo of the Zorak general's voice reverberated in Mira's mind as she and her team prepared for the next phase of their struggle. They had won the battle in the control room, but the war was far from over. The stakes had never been higher, and every second counted. The team regrouped in a secure chamber, panting and battered but filled with newfound determination. Mira glanced around at her teammates. Daniel, with his fierce determination and quick reflexes, Leela, whose tactical mind had always been their guiding light, and the strong and reliable Adam, whose courage inspired them all. They had fought hard, and now they needed a plan to turn the tide against the Zorak forces outside. "We need to push back," Mira said, her voice firm. "We've shown them that we can stand our ground, but we can't stop now. We need to take the fight to them." Leela nodded, her brow furrowed in thought. "If we can gather enough intel on their positions, we can target their command centers. That will cripple their coordination and give us the upper hand." "Good idea," Daniel chimed in. "But we need to be careful. They won't take us lightly after what just happened." Adam stepped forward, his expression resolute. "We need to find a way to disrupt their forces without putting ourselves in too much danger. If we can create distractions, we might draw them away from their strongholds." With a plan starting to take shape, the team moved quickly. They hacked into the ship's surveillance system, searching for crucial information. Lila worked tirelessly, her fingers flying over the controls as they scanned through the live feeds. The monitors displayed Zarek soldiers regrouping, their formation solidifying as they prepared for a counterattack. "There!" Leela exclaimed, her finger pointing at a cluster of Zarek soldiers gathered around a command console. "We can hit them here while they're vulnerable. It'll create confusion and give us a chance to break through to their command center." Mira felt a surge of adrenaline as she nodded. "Let's do it. We'll split into 2 teams. One will create a diversion to draw them away, while the other takes out their command center. We need to move quickly and strike hard." The team divided, with Mira leading the group toward the command center, while Daniel and Adam prepared the diversion. Lila remained behind, ensuring their route was secure and ready for their return. As they approached the designated area, Mira could feel the tension building. She exchanged determined glances with her teammates, each of them silently promising to watch each other's backs. They were all in this together. They reached the command center's entrance, a heavy steel door that stood ominously before them. Mira signaled for the team to halt. "Remember our training," she whispered. "Stay sharp and trust each other. We can do this." With a deep breath, she pressed a button on her makeshift weapon, a combination of human ingenuity and scavenged Zarek technology. The door slid open, and the group rushed inside. The room was filled with Zarek soldiers, their eyes wide with surprise as the humans charged in. The initial shock worked to their advantage. Mira and her team fought fiercely, using their knowledge of the ship's layout to navigate the space. Each movement was precise and coordinated, the humans working together as a single unit. They fought with the knowledge that their lives depended on it. In the midst of the chaos, Mira spotted a terminal that displayed the Zarek's communication systems. If they could disable it, it would cripple the enemy's ability to coordinate their troops. "I'll handle the terminal," she shouted to her team. "Cover her," Daniel called out, blocking the Zarek soldier's strike with a swift maneuver that sent the alien stumbling back. Mira rushed to the terminal, her heart racing as she began inputting commands. She could feel the heat of the battle surrounding her, the shouts of her teammates, the blaster fire echoing through the room, and the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Time seemed to blur as she worked, each second stretching out as the Zarek soldiers rallied around them. Just as Mira finished inputting the sequence, she felt a sharp pain in her side. A Zarek soldier had gotten too close, and now she stumbled, clutching her wound. But she refused to be taken down. Gritting her teeth, she completed the command. The terminal blinked, and a wave of static filled the air as their communication systems went dark. "Now," she yelled, her voice filled with urgency. "Push them back." With renewed vigor, the humans fought back, their spirits bolstered by the success of their mission. The Zarek soldiers faltered, their coordination in shambles without their communication systems. Mira could see the confusion spreading among them, a realization dawning that they were losing control. "Keep pushing," Daniel urged, leading a charge toward the remaining Zarek soldiers. The humans fought as one, their teamwork turning the tide of the battle. Mira felt her wounds fading into the background as determination surged within her. But just as victory seemed within reach, the Zarek general reappeared, fury etched on his face. "You think you can defeat me?" he bellowed, brandishing his weapon. "You are nothing but insects." Mira, fueled by anger and defiance, stepped forward. "You underestimate us at your own risk. We will not be your prey." With one final push, the humans charged at the general. They fought with everything they had, and Mira felt a rush of pride as her team rallied together, each member pushing through their fear and exhaustion. The fight was fierce, and though they faced overwhelming odds, the humans stood their ground, proving that they would not back down. In that moment, Mira knew that they were not just fighting for themselves, but for every human who had ever been underestimated. As the clash reached its peak, the outcome was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the humans would not give up. They would continue to fight, to push forward against the storm that sought to crush them. And as the battle raged on, the humans stood united, ready to prove that they were more than what the Zarak had believed. Mira stood at the edge of the control room, her heart pounding as she stared down the hallway. The Zarak soldiers were regrouping, their fierce determination evident in their every move. The battle had raged on for hours, and both sides were weary, but the humans had come too far to falter now. This was it, the last stand. The air was thick with tension, each moment stretching as the humans prepared for the final confrontation. Mira looked around at her team, their faces marked with exhaustion, but also with a fierce resolve. Daniel, Leela, and Adam were ready to fight until the end. They had fought side by side, sharing laughter and fears, and now they were bound together by an unbreakable spirit. "Are you all ready?" Mira asked, her voice steady. "This is our moment. We fight for our freedom and for every human who has ever been underestimated." Daniel gripped his weapon tightly, a fierce determination in his eyes. "We're ready, Mira. Let's show them what we're made of." With a final nod of agreement, they charged into the hallway, their weapons raised high. The Zarak soldiers stood waiting, and as soon as the humans emerged, a deafening battle cry echoed through the corridor. Blaster fire lit up the space, illuminating the tension-filled air as the two sides clashed in a storm of chaos. Mira felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins as she fired her weapon, each shot precise and focused. She darted through the chaos, moving with her team, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed dance. She could hear the shouts of her friends, the sounds of battle blending into a cacophony of survival. But amid the chaos, the Zarak general emerged, a towering figure of rage. His eyes blazed with fury as he spotted Mira and her team. "You think you can defeat me?" he roared, his voice cutting through the noise. "I will crush you." Mira felt a chill run down her spine, but she pushed it aside. "We won't back down," she shouted back. "You may have power, but we have something you'll never understand: human spirit." With a roar of defiance, the humans launched themselves at the general, their hearts filled with determination. The fight was fierce, each of them pushing against the overwhelming odds. Mira could see Leela out of the corner of her eye, expertly flanking the general, while Daniel and Adam provided cover, fighting fiercely. But the Zarak general was a formidable opponent, and as the battle wore on, it became clear that he was not going down easily. His strikes were powerful, and the humans found themselves pushed back, struggling to keep their ground. Mira felt a wave of fear wash over her, but she quickly quashed it. This was their moment, and they could not let fear take hold. "We're not done yet," she shouted, rallying her team. Together, with renewed strength, the humans pressed forward, their movements a blur of coordinated effort. They had trained for this, each moment preparing them for the fight of their lives. As they fought, Mira felt a surge of unity, an unspoken bond that fueled their resolve. In a desperate bid, Mira spotted an opening. The Zarak general was distracted, and this was their chance. "Now," she yelled, leading her team into a final, all-out assault. They charged, pushing through the chaos, determination burning in their eyes. The fight reached its climax, each second stretching into eternity. Mira felt every blow, every shot fired, but she also felt the strength of her friends beside her. They fought as one, their spirits unyielding against the storm of their enemy. Finally, with one last push, Mira and her team overwhelmed the Zarak general. In a fierce moment of clarity, they fought with everything they had, their combined strength breaking through the general's defenses. With a powerful strike, Mira delivered the final blow, and the general fell to the ground, defeated. Breathing heavily, Mira stood over him, her heart racing as silence fell over the control room. The remaining Zarak soldiers hesitated, their resolve shattered as they witnessed their leader's defeat. In that moment, the humans had proven their strength, their unity, and their unyielding spirit. "Now let's finish this," Daniel said, his voice steady as he looked at the remaining Zarak forces. The humans advanced, and the aliens began to retreat, fear evident in their eyes. As the Zerek forces fled, Mira felt a sense of triumph wash over her. They had faced unimaginable odds and emerged victorious. They had proven that humanity was not to be underestimated, that their spirit could not be crushed. Exhausted but elated, Mira and her team embraced each other, tears of joy and relief streaming down their faces. They had fought for their freedom, for each other, and for all of humanity. And in that moment, they knew that they had truly become something greater than themselves. As they gathered their strength and prepared to leave the battlefield, Mira took one last look around the control room. The fight had been fierce, but they had emerged stronger than ever. They had faced the storm and stood their ground. They were humans, resilient and unyielding, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would continue to fight, to protect their home, and to show the galaxy the true meaning of strength.